Hi everybody, I'm going to break this next lesson, lesson 5, into two separate videos. I think it's just easier to digest in smaller bits. So the last lesson we looked at what it means for a system to be in equilibrium. So when a system is in equilibrium, what you need to remember is the rate of reactants becoming products is equal to the rate of products becoming reactants. So it can like reverse itself. It's a process that can go back and forth. So when those rates of the forward and reverse reactions are equal, you're at equilibrium. The concentrations don't have to be equal, they just have to be constant. So what we're going to look at in this lesson, and we'll look at this over the course of a couple of days, is if I disrupt this equilibrium, how does the system respond to get it back? So we're going to stress out our system in different ways by, changing its environment in some capacity. And then we are going to see how it responds to get back into that nice balance. So there's different, things that could cause stress on a particular system. Okay, so if you think about, if we were in a classroom right now, imagine that. If we were in a class and we increased the temperature of the classroom, that would stress you out and you would probably respond in some way. If we put more kids in the classroom, that would be like increasing the concentration, right? We're putting more particles in that given amount of space. That would stress you out. If I gave more work to do, increasing the pressure, that would stress you out. So when things stress you out, the tendency would be to get away from where the stress is, right? If I raised the temperature and it made you uncomfortable, you wouldn't be like, oh yes, please crank that up more. Or if I put more kids in the room, be like, yes, welcome, let's add another 20. And if I gave you more work to do, you wouldn't be like, that's nice, let's do more. You'd want to get away from it. So the same thing happens with these systems at equilibrium. When you disrupt it, they're going to resolve themselves by moving away from the direction that's causing the stress. So systems in equilibrium will increase the rate of the reaction in the direction that relieves the stress and reestablishes equilibrium. So think about like a really junky like horror movie, and like there's this girl running in stilettos because that's what you do when you're being terrified, is you put on your best heels. And at the end of an alley is some like freak show in a trench coat with a hook or something and a knife. She's not gonna, well, in the movie she'll probably run towards him because that's what they do, but like you wouldn't go towards the problem, you would get away from the problem. So this whole idea of stressing out a system in some way and then resolving it is known as LeChatelier's principle, because let's just add a French guy. This is a name you need to know just because we're going to talk about what he kind of figured out. So the idea behind LeChatelier's principle is if a system at equilibrium is subjected to stress, the equilibrium or the reaction will proceed faster in a direction that will relieve the stress. So there's different types of stresses that we're going to look at. A change in concentration, a change in temperature, a change in pressure. We're also going to look at what happens if you add a catalyst and something called the common ion effect. So in this first video, we're just going to focus on these two, a change in concentration and a change in temperature. What we need to keep in mind during all of these things is what is happening to collisions. Okay, because collisions are what cause reactions. So the first stress we're going to look at is a change in concentration. So concentration has to do with the amount of particles. Okay, so if I put more of one type of particle into a system, that means that those types of particles are going to be able to collide more often. So if you could change the concentration of something by increasing it, the reaction that reduces the amount of the added substance is favored. So I will explain what this means and kind of give you examples of this. So the way that you're going to remember this is CIA, okay? If the concentration of a particular substance increases, the reaction shifts away from where that substance was increased. Okay, so let me give you an example. If I have a reaction that is substance A reacting with substance B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's in equilibrium with, let's see here, with ABs. Okay, so we have reds and blues reacting to form red-blue combos. Okay, so these red and blue molecules have to collide with one another in order to react. So the rate of the reds and blues colliding and making red-blue combos is equal to the rate of the red-blue combos breaking down and separating. So remember, the rates are equal. The quantities are not. Obviously, there's 5 reds and 5 blues on the left, and there's only 3 red-blue combos. So the quantities on each side do not have to be equal, but the rates of exchange are going to be equal. So it'd be like if I were, if I handed you a pile of Legos and it was just a loose pile of Legos, and I had like 3 double sets of Legos in front of me, like a red-blue set, and every time you put a red and a blue together and handed it to me, I was able to take apart one of my red blues and hand the separated things back to you. You would always have a bigger pile than I did because I gave you a bigger pile to start. So our piles would remain the same size because our rate of exchange was equal. So if I did something to this system, so let's say I added more reds to my container over here, what's going to happen to the frequency of collisions of the reds with the blues? Well, if there's more reds present, the reds and the blues are going to collide more frequently. If the reds and the blues collide more frequently, chances are they're going to react faster. Well, what is the reaction of red and blue? That's the forward reaction. So as the red and blue react faster because I added red, so let me write that down. I increase the amount of red. The reaction, the forward reaction is favored. The reverse reaction is still happening. Those reds and blues are still being taken apart, but the forward reaction is going to speed up because there's a higher concentration there. So what's going to happen as a result? If I increase the amount of reds, the forward reaction is favored. Well, what does the forward reaction do? The forward reaction makes red blues. So the amount of red blues in my system are going to go up. Well, what's going to happen to the blues that are over here? They're going to get used up because in order to make a red-blue combo, I need to use up the blues. So let me show you again an example of concentration change. Here's just using letters. So this is going to be like a bunch of arrow patterns really to memorize. If I increase the amount of A, these will collide more. If those are colliding more, that means that the forward reaction is going to be favored. It's going to speed up. The forward reaction is the reaction between A and B that makes C and D. So if my forward reaction is happening faster, the amount of C and D in my system is going to go up. Well, what's going to happen to the amount of B in my system? Since the reaction between A and B is what gives us C and D, the amount of B is going to have to drop because it's getting used up as the A and B continue to react. Now let's think of this on the other side. Let me just rewrite this reaction. Now, the stress that I'm introducing here is increasing the amount of C in my system. That means that C and D are going to collide more. So if C and D collide more, that means they're going to react at a faster rate, which means the reverse reaction is going to be favored. Well, what is the reverse reaction? The reverse reaction takes the C and D and transforms it into A and B. So what will happen to the amount of A and B in my system? It's going to go up. What's going to happen to the amount of substance D in my system? Well, because D is being used up during the increased reaction of C and D, the D is going to go down. Okay, you need to follow along with this. This is not something that's just like, oh, okay, I got it. I would, rewind and listen to these examples a couple of times. You really need to get this down. It's not difficult once you understand the patterns that you're working with. The next type of stress that you could introduce to a system is changing its temperature. And we've already looked at what a temperature change does to a reaction rate. If I increase the temperature of a system, it increases the reaction rate. Because the particles are moving faster, they're colliding more forcefully. Now, for a chemical reaction, if you increase the temperature of a system, the endothermic reaction is favored. So you're going to be looking at where the heat falls in the process. And if you decrease the temperature, it will favor the exothermic direction. So the rule, the mnemonic device to help you out here is TIA. If the temperature increases, you're going to shift away from the heat. So you have to look and see where the heat falls in the process. So now we have our reaction again. A plus B is an equilibrium with C plus D, and then it has this plus 450 kilojoules. Now, if I'm reading a reaction from left to right, and I see that heat is on the right-hand side, that tells me that this forward reaction is exothermic. That would also tell me that the reverse reaction, because now we're putting the heat in to go backwards, this reverse reaction is endothermic. Okay? So now, looking at this example, if I increase the temperature of my system, we can remember this TIA. So if I increase the temperature, you put an up arrow over the heat. That's the change that I'm making. So if the temperature increases, I want to shift in the direction away from the heat. So I will shift to the left. The left is the endothermic direction. We've already established that. Now, if that reverse reaction is going faster, what's going to happen to the amount of A and B in my system? Well, the reverse reaction is the process of C and D reacting to make A and B. So if that is speeding up, that means my A and B are going to increase. If I change this around and I said the temperature dropped, so we're looking at mnemonic devices that talk about increasing these factors. If I decrease it, it would go the opposite direction. I would shift to the right, the C and the D would go up, the A and the B would go down. Here's an example with an actual chemical reaction. This is the decomposition of ammonia into nitrogen and hydrogen, okay? And it's a reversible process as long as it's in a closed system. These are all gases, so you'd need to have it in a closed container because if you open the container, the gases escape and it's not going to establish equilibrium. So looking at this one, we have the heat written on the left-hand side. Now, if the heat is written on the left-hand side, we saw this with table I, we saw this with potential energy diagrams, that means that this forward reaction is endothermic and the reverse reaction would be exothermic. So now, if we increase the heat, so we increase the temperature, so we'll add heat to wherever the heat is, and the rule is TIA, the reaction is going to shift away from the heat, which would be in the right. So that means the forward reaction is favored. Now, what happens to everything, all the substances in my system? Well, if the forward reaction is going faster, The forward reaction is the decomposition of the ammonia. So that means as the ammonia is decomposing, what is the ammonia turning into? It's turning into nitrogen and hydrogen. So they're going to go up. What's going to happen to the amount of ammonia in my system? Well, because it's being used to decompose into nitrogen and hydrogen, the ammonia would drop. So those are just two factors that we can change in a system that's at equilibrium to disrupt it, and we just looked at what happens when it responds in order to reestablish equilibrium. The next video for the next day will be the other factors you need to learn about.